With Washington focused on Republican lawmakers' plans to repeal and replace Obamacare, the issue of tax reform has taken a back seat, but it is next on the Trump administration's agenda. One of the key features of a tax plan proposed by House Speaker Paul Ryan is the border adjustment tax. It would cut corporate tax from 35% to 20%, and it would shift companies' tax burdens to imports. Bloomberg's Chandra spoke with economist Alan Auerbach. He's the director of the University of California, Berkeley's Tax Policy Center, and he's known as the father of the border adjustment tax. Emma asked him why he thinks the BAT is the best way to tackle the U.S. corporate tax code.
I think we've seen the alternatives not work, and really by process of elimination, this, in my view, is the only way that can work. It works through a variety of channels. First of all, it makes it impossible for multinational companies to shift their profits to low-tax countries because of the border adjustments. It encourages companies to locate production in the U.S. because the tax is based on where products are sold and not where they're produced. And with a move to cash flow taxation from our current system of income taxation, it would make the tax system much more efficient, much simpler, and encourage domestic investments.
Now, it has faced a lot of criticism. I'm sure you've obviously faced a great deal of it yourself, being known as the father of the border adjustment tax, especially from retailers, especially from big companies who import a lot. What would you say to them?
I would say two things. First of all, the mechanics of the provision should lead, of the border tax adjustment should lead to an appreciation, a strong appreciation of the U.S. dollar, which should make U.S. imports much more competitive and offset the border adjustment tax that's imposed.
But there's a concern that wouldn't happen right away.
Well, well, right away. I mean, day one, perhaps not. Within a year or two, yes. I guess what I would say is that people who are concerned about the health of the retail sector and other importing sectors should look around the world at countries that have value-added taxes, all of which have border adjustments very much like the one that would be included in this legislation. The retail sectors are doing just fine in these countries, and that wouldn't be the case if the projections that opponents are coming forward with for the U.S. provision were true. The retail sectors haven't died where value-added taxes have been introduced. The economic adjustments that are being projected will take place and will make it possible. It will certainly encourage production in the United States, but it's not a protectionist measure, and it's not going to cause severe damage to importing industries.
And we've seen a number of ads going out on television with people saying this would be terrible, telling consumers it would push prices up. I mean, what would you say to the likes of Walmart?
Well, first of all, I can't read their minds, and so I don't know everything that motivates them to oppose the bill. There may be other factors that they're not talking about. I would certainly say that as concerns the border adjustment and dollar appreciation and other economic adjustments, that it is a big change. It's not a system that we have now, and whenever a new system is being considered, there are lots of things that might happen that people worry about. The fact that they're worried about it doesn't mean it's going to happen. And I would just say that, there are going to be winners and losers under this legislation. But the losers will be, for example, companies that currently avoid paying U.S. taxes by shifting their profits to low-tax countries. I wouldn't focus on the import-intensive industries as being the likely losers.
We've also seen a number of world leaders as well bandy around things like the U.S. would be starting a trade war with this kind of tax, among other things, if there were changes. Why do you think they're taking this stance?
Well, first of all, I think rhetoric matters, and many people, including in the administration, have have sort of either unintentionally or intentionally confused discussions of border adjustments with discussions of tariffs. These are two different things, whereas tariffs are protectionist, border adjustments are not. The world leaders that are maybe listening to the rhetoric rather than looking at the actual provisions. If they are looking at the actual provisions, they might want to ask themselves how the border adjustments in the proposal differ from the border adjustments in their own value-added tax systems in some countries with rates as high as the 20% that would be applied in the U.S. If they think the U.S. provisions are protectionist, then they must be concluding that their own provisions are protectionist as well. And if they don't feel that, then they're simply being inconsistent.